wines always should have three things to them. They should have a great fresh fruit character, never jammy fruit, never confit or dried fruit, always fresh, as if you're putting a fresh raspberry in your mouth or a fresh strawberry. That crisp, that snap of acidity should always be there. We also have a great earthiness in our wines, and I don't mean funky or barnyardy. I mean, more like mushroom or loam or mineral. And then there should always be a sweet spice character. Our soils give a lot of spiciness to the wines, so it's very normal to smell cinnamon, cloves, star anise, things like that. And that's not from barrels, that's not from barrique aging, it's really from the soil. So those three things should always be in Oregon wines. So I make two Chardonnays. The first is called Old Stones, and the second is called Sigrid. Both of these Chardonnays here come from our 5 estate vineyards. What they are essentially is 2 different barrel selection cuvées. The Old Stones is going to be barrels selected for more vibrancy, mineral, and a little bit more racier food friendliness early. Whereas the Sigrid is a barrel selection that is really based on texture, length, longevity, age-worthiness, something a little bit more grandiose. But both of these do not seek opulence necessarily. We're looking for balance, we're looking for integrity, and definitely a more classic Chardonnay viewpoint. Big, oaky, buttery is not what I'm looking for in my wines. So these are definitely food friendly, definitely age-worthy, and I've been very surprised in the London market and flattered to hear how so many people will liken these to Old World style, which is what I'm trying for. Now the Pinot Noirs, I have again several single vineyard parcels that I make wines from. But I make one wine where I marry them all together, and that's called Cumberland Reserve. Cumberland is named for the road I grew up on. We lived there for 30 years. And so it's a sentimental name, it's a proprietary name, and I call this my business card wine because it's supposed to tell people about the Bergstrm style, it's supposed to tell people about my take on the vintage, and it's supposed to showcase that what I told you about earlier, how Oregon Pinot Noir should always have fresh fruit, spice, and earthiness. That should always be in Cumberland Reserve. And from there we go into the single vineyard wines. And this should tell you just more about how well I farmed a vineyard in any given year, because whereas the blend is about the artistry of winemaking, single vineyards is about agriculture, and it's about place and terroir. So the Shea Vineyard is it's probably one of Oregon's best known vineyard sites. It's 140 acres, and there are 22 wineries making a Shea Vineyard. Bergstrm is the largest producer of the Shea Vineyard. We have the largest contracts, 10% of the entire vineyard under long-term contracts. So we have 5 different parcels from the lower part of the hill to the upper part of the hill. Because of the thin soils here, Shea always has a wonderful earth-driven mineral character and very robust tannins. The Bergstrm Vineyard is our original vineyard planted in 1999 in the Dundee Hills. So this is red volcanic basalt. This is a 13-acre biodynamic vineyard, and because of this red soil, you get very red fruited wines, very floral, and this wonderful ferrous iron mineral quality that reminds me a lot of dried meat or saucisson. And then the De Lancelotti Vineyard is our largest estate vineyard at 21 acres, just surrounds the winery. And these are deep ocean sands. They look like old ocean beaches. They reflect with silica. It's a very bright, warm vineyard, and because of that, the wines taste that way. It's the most generous, opulent, fruit-forward wine that we make. Always very spicy and very dense and very rich.